Personally, only feel like because his contribution to Team India, especially in the performing in Sena countries, because that's a credential to for any player, like performing in a difficult condition, difficult countries. And I think that type of you cannot perform unless you got that talent, your temperament, and the character. And that's the reason I personally feel like that's very important, because the player who gives heart out, I think it's also important to go with, because every player knows that he has to one day he has to retire, he has to hang his shoes. But it's also important for him how he exit from that, because that can be also a good event for him that they will remember and cherish for the long time. And that's the reason I feel, because Ajinkya deserves that, my personal opinion, simply because that what he has personally I only feel like because his contribution to Team India, especially in the performing in Sena countries, because that's a credential to for any player, like performing in a difficult condition, difficult countries. And I think that type of you cannot perform unless you got that talent, your temperament, and the character. And that's the reason I personally feel like that's very important, because the player who gives heart out, I think it's also important to go with, because every player knows that he has to one day he has to retire, he has to hang his shoes. But it's also important for him how he exit from that, because that can be also a good event for him that they will remember and cherish for the long time. And that's the reason I feel, because Ajinkya deserves that, my personal opinion, simply because that what he has contributed. Because anybody who is like, we know like what he has done in Australia, that particular inning in Melbourne, like when the team was got out 32 previously, and from there picking the team, performing, leading from the front and getting that 100. And I think that's the art of batsmanship, and I think also the art of leadership, how to play with the team where a lot of morally the team was down, and the beating the mighty Australians in their own soil. I think that was thing. I think that's the more reason I personally feel they should also exit with a good way. I think that I personally feel that's a different thing, because I don't think so like Ajinkya Rahane was never ever one. He was always a silent warrior, because he knows that whenever his team needed, he was there for the team. And I think that's the way he grown up, and his attitude was that. So I think I personally feel like whatever the contribution he has done from Team India, I'm really proud of it, because most of them it come in an adverse situation, and that's the mark of whole of art of batting and a batsman. Well, I think hardship, I will say, because he always come from the hard way. Like we know the stories, like coming from the Domboli with the kit bag, it's not easy, coming from the humble background. And more importantly, like for him also, I was a coach when he made a debut. It was a special. His debut was in Pakistan, where he got his 100 in the first game. I think that's the spark he has shown, like going to the representing Mumbai and getting 100 in the first game for him. I think that's very important to as a player, and I think that's the moment I felt like this boy got a cricket in him, and he has the potential to play for India. After 5 years of scoring 1,000 runs, he could not got that India cap. Also coming to the Indian team, he has to wait in 19 test matches. I think that shows the character, and that's the feeling, and maybe that's the reason he's such a emotional when he is leaving that he's not going to be on the ground. But yes, that's the performances. I think he stood there with I think such most important, and he can be the role model for that, is respecting the game, respecting your colleagues, and I think those are the values. I just wanted to share one incident also, because people know like I am his coach, but one day one gentleman came, and he was traveling with the India with anti-corruption officer, and he told me like he has seen Rahane's behavior in Indian dressing room, and I think the respect he gives and how he respects his kit bag, he respect to the even the waiters that they are serving, that how he is respecting that. And that's the, I think, biggest thing, because when you score in a cricket, there will be a success, there will be failure, but as a human and also as a personality, the way he has behaved and conducted himself, I think that's why we feel proud of him. Well, I think one of the innings in Lord's 100 on a green top, I think that's because we know like this game is English, and when you perform, and especially at the venue of Lords, I think it is always special moment. I think I personally feel that, because I was very happy to see his name on honors. Well, I think when he came back, I think first when he was dropped, I think that he came in the Indian team with very strong way. I think his performance was in a Irani trophy, and that's why he came there. And as we said, like his in career he performed means we know like there was no home series. It was all about Sena tour and every tour was important and he was the guy who always stayed in present and I think given the importance for the present tour and that's why reason I think he played 85 test matches. Well, I think I remember like talking to him that time when India lost that test match and he became a captain and I personally felt like it was exactly like a Kargil moment because the opponent were on the top, they were at it down and I think exactly like that moment was like that, they were down and from there they went there and they captured like going back and winning the series. Well, obviously every person feel like there will be more, but I think it's important like whether he's enjoying or not. I think that's his personal call, and I think it's more important. It's people should ask why he's not playing rather than why he's playing. I think it's good like he has taken that decision, and I'm sure like he has a more potential also in the second inning where he can be a good commentator, he can be a good coach, and I still personally feel like he got a good 1-2 years cricket he left in him. He can play a global league also because his experience can be still vital.
You have said
well, I think he has performed on all of the things, but I think he can be useful in a South African league, even a US or Dubai, wherever. I think those leagues are important. They are going also bigger, and I think it will be great for their league also, like ex-India players are playing. And well, I think stay honest to the game. I think the way he has done, and maybe that's the reason people are remembering him. And I am sure like he will continue that, like again, contributing to the game the way, whichever the manner, whether as a commentator or the coach or whichever he likes, but it's important to be connect with the game. Well, he has that temperament. I think that is what you need, coaching and even administration to have a calm and compose. I think he has that ability, and I think I'm not surprised that he will be also successful in his second inning. And I think the way, the commitment, I think, and also the preparation, the way he prepared himself for every single game, whether he played domestic or international, I think he makes sure his preparations are all spot on. Well, I think more importantly, as I said, like any Bombay cricketer, the grind, I think that's very critical, and that's what, that the attitude, I think that comes with that grind, and also the way he represented Mumbai also for a long time, and he was there many championship. I think his contribution was also very important for Mumbai cricket also. Well, everybody was different and everybody has their own thing, but I personally feel like it's a coach's delight to be work with him because it was very easy to handle him, and also he was very, very open-minded, like whenever any correction or any changes, he was open for that and he was ready to listen. I think that's the biggest quality because after playing for country for more than 70 matches, I think even last year what I saw, like his commitment for 45 days, he worked on his batting for IPL. So I think that shows the character and shows the commitment for. Well, I think people will remember him, whatever he has done, because there is I think, as I said, that's the golden era, what he has done in Australia as a batsman, as a leader. I think that will be, people will definitely. Well, still as a coach, I will feel like play the game. I think it doesn't matter which level you are playing. Enjoy the game. This game is such a beautiful, and also like as I said, he should be connected with the game because this experience of 85 test match, 200 of more than IPL matches, and that's those big experience, and he should share with the upcoming cricketer or the franchises. I think that can be useful, and he can be asset to anybody.